Some time ago, I did a video about a guy who complained that when atheists ask for proof of a god's existence, they don't specify which god or what kind of evidence would convince them. In my video, I explained what proof I'm looking for.
Today, I am responding to the Messianic Manic, who brought himself to my attention by making a response video to my video called "Where's the Proof That God is Real?" I had never heard of this guy before, and I don't know his name, so for the sake of this video, I'm going to call him Chuck. The very first problem Chuck made with his video is the title. It doesn't matter what proof you want, it only matters what proof there is.
The video to which I responded said that atheists don't specify what type of proof they require. So I specified what type of proof I require, and now you're saying it doesn't matter. What was the point of bringing up the fact that atheists often don't specify what type of proof they require if you don't think it matters?
Let that sink in for a moment. When a scientist pursues a hypothesis, he doesn't ask himself what evidence he wants to exist, he searches for the evidence, wherever it may be.
Yes, and like me, he or she has a standard of what evidence they will find convincing.
In regards to God, the evidence for his existence is most often found in a realm that naturalists like Chuck here have little respect for: theology.
I'm not a naturalist. I think the central claim of naturalism is meaningless because it is tautological.
If you want answers about God's existence, study theology. I cannot promise that you will be satisfied by theological studies, but I can tell you that millions of other people have been satisfied by theological teachings, and many intelligent scientists in history have been converted to theism thanks to the theological arguments developed by Christians over the last 2,000 years. I only point this out to say that your disbelief in God is actually very insignificant over the course of history.
Oh good, then proselytizers shouldn't waste their time with me. Whenever they pester me about not believing in their God, I'll point out that my non-belief is really not significant and they should stop knocking on my door.
Your negative views of theism are what is truly extraordinary, since the ordinary man believes in a God, and always has. It is therefore more meaningful for you to explain to the world of religious people how every single argument and piece of evidence for God's existence could possibly be wrong.
I don't claim that they're wrong. I simply explain why I don't find them convincing. I've never tried to convince anyone that no God exists. I've never argued that no God exists. I don't understand what a God is even supposed to be, so I can't make any such claim any more than I can claim that a God does exist.
If you expect me to convince you of theism overnight, then you're kidding yourself.
I definitely don't expect that. I've learned possibly thousands of arguments from at least dozens of apologists over the course of more than 20 years, and the more I listen and read, the less sense these arguments make to me. I know you won't convince me overnight, because decades of studying apologists and their arguments has done nothing but make me less convinced of theism than ever. So often I hear guys like this tell me, you just need to learn more philosophy or theology, as though I don't have 600 videos quoting philosophers and theologians and their arguments.
The evidence for God's existence is huge, complex, philosophically deep, and not for the closed-minded.
And apparently not for open-minded people like me who have searched for it for decades.
As I've said in a past video, militant atheists do not grasp the meaning behind most analogies. And so I'm going to be very pragmatic here and explain exactly what I was trying to convey with my analogy, because nobody seems to have understood what I was getting at. If you ask a question, but are unable to describe an example of what the answer may be, then you do not understand the question you are asking. In other words, when you ask for scientific, empirical evidence for God's existence, as Chuck did in his video, you better be willing to offer some examples of what that might look like.
Here is what I said I would need to convince me that there is a God. 1. A definition of a God that I can understand. If you want to convert me to your religion, you'll obviously have to define the term God in a way that is consistent with the God worshipped by the religion to which you seek to convert me. 2. A set of empirically testable and falsifiable predictions based on the supposition that a God exists. 3. Test results that match those predictions and are more parsimoniously explained by this God's existence than any other hypothesis. Notice that I didn't just ask for scientific empirical evidence. I asked for 3 things, and I asked for them in a specific order. The first and most important thing I asked for is a definition of a God that I can understand. You still haven't volunteered one. You are correct that if I can't give an example of what such evidence would be, I don't understand the question. That's why my request for evidence comes after my request for an understandable definition of a God.
Of course, the average atheist will simply say this:
Well, how the hell should I know?
But that just doesn't cut it. because you're the one posing the question, not me. So it helps if you can cooperate a little and offer some detailed examples of what it would take to convince you.
I'd love to give you that, and I would enthusiastically do so upon being given a definition of God I can understand.
But here's the catch. Your examples, your requirements for the validation of theism may not even pertain to what theism really is.
Which is all the more reason why I need to know how you define it.
It's like I said before, you must ask for the evidence. You can't always get what you want.
Which is exactly what I tell all the proselytizers. If the evidence isn't the evidence that would actually convince me, they will not achieve the conversion they seek. To everyone who helps me out on Patreon, you're a big help. Thanks so much.